I sat on the river bank. I deposited the cash at the bank. Same word, bank, two meanings that have nothing to do with each other. Last episode, every word was a single fixed point in space, but bank cannot sit in two places at once. So before the model predicts anything, it does something that feels almost alive. It lets the words in your sentence reach out and rewrite each other's meaning, on the fly, based on who they are sitting next to. This one mechanism is called attention, and it is the breakthrough that turned decent language models into ChatGPT. Let's watch it actually happen. Here is the classic example that makes the problem crystal clear. The animal didn't cross the street because it was too tired. Quick, what does it refer to? You knew instantly. The animal. Now I change exactly one word. The animal didn't cross the street because it was too wide. Suddenly it means the street. Same little word, it forced to point at two completely different things. And notice the clue that decides it, tired versus wide, is sitting way over at the far end of the sentence, nowhere near the word it. So the model cannot just glance at the word next door. It has to let it reach across the whole sentence to find what it actually refers to. Now the explanation you usually hear is that attention just highlights the important words. And that is true, but it is only half the story, and the missing half is the whole point. Highlighting only tells you where to look. It does not change anything. A highlighter over the word animal leaves animal exactly as it was. What attention actually does is move meaning. The word it reaches out, locks onto animal, and pulls a copy of animal's meaning back into itself. It does not point at the answer. It absorbs it. After attention, the point that meant a vague it has physically shifted to mean the animal. The information moved. So how does a word reach out and grab meaning from another? Through three simple roles that every word plays at once. First, each word sends out a query, which is basically a question. What am I looking for? The word it sends out something like, I am a pronoun, I need the noun I stand for. Second, every other word holds up a key, a little advertisement of what it offers. I am an animal, I am an action, I am the. When its query strongly matches animal's key, a strong connection forms between them. And third, the value, the actual payload of meaning that animal hands over to be mixed in. Query, what I am seeking. Key, what I am offering. Value, what I give you if you pick me. That trio is the entire engine of attention. But here is the subtle, crucial part. The word it does not just pick the single best match and grab only that. It connects to every word in the sentence at the same time, just by different amounts. A strong link to animal, a weaker link to tired, almost nothing to the and street. Then it takes all of their values, the meaning each one offers, and blends them together, weighted by how strong each connection was. Mostly animal, a little tired, a trace of the rest. And that blended bundle of meaning gets added directly onto it. So the point that started as a hazy, it slides across the meaning space and settles right next to the animal. Not replaced, updated by a weighted mixture of everything around it. And here is the proof that it is really doing this and not just memorizing. Flip that one word back. Tired becomes wide. Now when it sends out its query, the strongest match is no longer animal, it is street, because width is a property of the street. So the blend it pulls in is a different blend, heavy on street this time. And the very same word it slides the other way, toward street instead. Nothing was hard-coded. No rule said it means the animal. The meaning bent itself to fit the sentence live, the instant one word changed. That is attention earning its name. Now scale this up, because the real thing is bigger than one reach. The model does not run attention just once. It runs many of these operations side by side in parallel, and each one watches for a different kind of relationship. One might track what refers to what, another might track grammar, another tone or tense. GPT-3 ran 96 of these heads side by side in every single layer, and then it stacks those layers up, dozens to 100 deep, and does the whole thing again and again. Each pass lets meaning flow a little further across the sentence, every word soaking up more and more of its context, until each one is no longer a dictionary definition, but a fully situated meaning, shaped by everything around it. That cascading flow of meaning between words is the beating heart of the transformer. So attention is not a highlighter, and that distinction is everything. It is the mechanism that lets the words in a sentence physically update one another, so a frozen point of meaning becomes a living, context-aware one. It is the difference between a word and what that word means right here, right now. It is why your AI can tell a riverbank from a bank account without ever being told the rule. But attention is only half of the engine. Between every attention step sits another layer that quietly does most of the actual heavy lifting, the real thinking, and the whole towering stack is nothing but a pile of fixed numbers that a word rides up through. Next time, we finally pull back and open up the entire transformer.